Hello, my YouTube viewers. Welcome to the Stephen Williams show once again. Just let me say this, I like to focus on finance. Yes, I was a financial advisor while I was living in my country, Jamaica. I used to advise on insurance and investments and all of that. So I have a fair knowledge, competent knowledge of these things. However, I'm not currently in the field of financial advice, so please don't consider this financial advice, because I would recommend you to seek financial advice from people who are more qualified and are legal to do that. And as you know, this is required by the laws of the land. Especially, I'm living in Canada, so I'm not a licensed financial advisor in any way. I just seek to educate rather than offer financial advice. Okay, so please, if you want financial advice, this is not where to the place to get it. I simply offer my education about how best to deal with certain situations that has to do with money. All right. Good that I can get that out of the way, because I don't want anybody to come down on me and say I'm giving bad or good financial advice. That's not my purpose here. My purpose is to educate on what works and what don't work. Alright, so I'm going to continue on the whole idea of debt, because this is one of the most crippling things that we have in our society today. It is what is causing many families to be, marriages to go under really serious strains. It is causing a lot of misery, untold hardship on people, because a lot of people don't make wise financial advice and they take on just too much debt, and then they find themselves in all kind of problems. All right, so if you have racked up a lot of debt, it's usually in credit card debt, it's usually student loan debt, mortgage debt, car loans debt, furniture. You want the house to look good, so of course you go out and you didn't even stop to think about what you're doing. So you went out and you furniture the house, the living room, every part of the house to feels good. When your friend come over, you can show them what you have. Yes, well, after you have done impress them with the beautiful furniture and the beautiful car, what's next? You're left for the next couple of years, well, to now pay back for those debt, and you can't back out. So don't forget that. Sometimes some people go out and they take mortgages that they don't even stop to consider that, what if something goes wrong? How do I pay off this debt? So you must always have a backup plan and always think carefully before you jump into debt. If you can pay back your debt, just remember that you can be sued. Yeah, the banks can take you to the court and they can force you to pay. And then when that happens and they win a judgment against you, you know what next? Then they garnish your pay. So the little money that you work to feed your family has to be going in paying for the lawsuit and paying back your debt. So be careful and watch that. You don't want to know when you earn your money, your pay is being garnished by these debts, because of these debts. You can also lose your valuable possession. You can have your house repossessed or foreclosed. You can have your cars for being repossessed, and this is no good. You can have your furniture repossessed, leading you to misery and agony. It's not very nice, and the worst part is that you're embarrassing yourself and your family. You know, when the neighbor sees that your car or your house is being foreclosed or the furniture man comes back to take the furniture, that's not a very pretty sight. So be careful of what you're doing. Um, and there's another foolish way that people attack debt. Some people, they owe this bank or this place, and then they go over that place to borrow money to pay off this. Uh, and you have a lot of companies also want you to transfer your debt to them. So let me ask you a question. What sense does that make? What sense does it make to borrow money to pay off money? Yes, it may help a little if the interest rate is lower for the money that you borrow to pay off the debt, but you still are in debt. The fact is, you don't borrow money, you don't get into debt to pay off a debt. You don't borrow money to pay off a debt. So, so the question is, what is the best way to pay off a debt? Again, it is income that you need to pay off a debt, not another debt. Income. When your income exceeds your expenses, you're in a good position. So if you're in debt, the best thing to do is probably get a part-time job or find some stuff to buy and sell. Find some online things to do where you can earn some income. Right? The best way to pay off debt is with income. Don't forget that, because a lot of people are making the mistake of borrowing money to pay off debt. All right. The next thing is bring down your spending. Bring down your spending, and I can't emphasize it more. You need to cut your spending. So look at some of the things that is unnecessary. Some of these monthly obligations that you are putting yourself in, and you want to subscribe to everything and everybody. It's not the right way to do. Some things you have to say sorry. Yes, it's only $10 a month, but sorry, I beg to take a pass, because it all adds up at the end of the month when you have all these deductions and all these things coming out of your pay and from your credit card. It all adds up at the end of the month and the end of the year. So it's not very wise to be subscribing to everybody and everything and every little thing you get involved in. No, that's not good. All right. So become more spending conscious and cut your spending. Make some sacrifices. Get rid of some stuff that you don't need. Right? Cut some bills that you can do without, and just deal with the bare minimum, the basics that will keep you and your family together. So go on a strict budget too, focusing on bringing down the debt. So it's always good to have a budget. I know it's very difficult to stick to a budget. I've tried it over and over, and it's next to impossible for me personally, because I don't have that discipline. But however, it's good to know where your money is going, and it's good to know how much is coming in and how much you're spending, and it's good to account for every money that you spend, and to know what you can cut and what you can pull back on. All right. So the next thing is, if the debt gets real bad and out of hand and you have no other choice, and you know that you have tried to get more income, you have tried to negotiate the debt, and it's still, your back is still against the wall, well, the next best thing to do is file a consumer proposal. A consumer proposal is one in which you go to an institution that deals with debt and consumer proposal. Talk with them about how much debt you have. So let's say you have a $35,000 debt, and they can negotiate with the people who you owe, and they bring it down to say 15,000. That's still better than having the debt around your neck, choking you. So they will do that on your behalf, and then you are now on a monthly plan to, so a couple of years, say 3, 4, 5 years to pay that off, the 15,000 off. It is something to consider, but you must remember that it has disadvantages, because the main disadvantage I have observed with doing a consumer proposal is that it is treated like a bankruptcy. And when you are trying now to get a loan anywhere, you're going to see that come back to haunt you, because they're going to say now, when they look at your credit history, oh, you did a bankruptcy or you did a consumer proposal, sorry, we can't help you. You know, that's why I've said in previous video, you're treated like a common criminal. If you're to get a mortgage, that's going to come back to bite. If you're trying to get a loan for anything, and they check you, if you're even going to buy some television, for instance, or whatever, and you are trying to get a loan, a credit, it's going to come back to haunt you, because most of these institutions are going to say, sorry, nope, can't give you. And it can really feel bad when that happens. So that is why it's so important to avoid these debt that we get ourselves into. And of course, bankruptcy is also another option. If you really don't have any option, you can do a bankruptcy. Of course, these two is gonna last about, say, 7 years on your record before you start anew. So but let me just say here as I close, the best thing to do when you do a consumer proposal, I forgot to mention, is that it helps when you stick to it. Do not mess it up by stop paying. And it's also good for your record when you pay it off. Don't wait till the 5 years, if it's 5 years they give you. Pay it off when you get a lump sum of money. Just shut your eye, pay it off. Take that noose from around your neck, because that is really like a shackle and a noose around our neck. Alright? So bear these things in mind. I hope that you have learned something, and that you will act very responsible when it comes to money and debt, because it is all about your peace of mind. If you want peace of mind, stay away. Just live a simple life. Enjoy life while you can, and don't put yourself and your family in financial ruin and misery, because it can lead really to devastating consequences. Alright? It can mess up your marriage. Yeah, it can make your children, be miserable. Everybody around you miserable, because your whole financial situation is a mess. You have lost your house, and now you've got to go begging somebody to put you up, or you got to go rent now, and you used to own your own home. So my friends, stay clear from these things and manage your finances as best as possible. Thanks for listening. Have yourself a blessed day. God bless. Bye-bye.